Hello, everybody, and welcome back. On today's episode, do humanoids lack flavor? So, what is the humanoid category? And where did they all go? Humanoids have been a category, as a category, have been reduced. Creatures such as goblins, kobolds, kenku have each been turned to fae, dragon, monstrosity, respectively, and other creatures of the lake. In the 2014 Monster Manual, there were 71 humanoids, and now it's down to 48. These will affect spells such as Charm Person and Hold Person, Dominate Person, and other spells of the lake, or other features that relate to only humanoids. A lot of these monsters have even too been converted. Deep Gnomes to Scouts, Drow zoned to Priestess Acolytes, Drow Elite Warriors and Gladiators, and the list goes on the right over here. So, there are currently 10 player species in the player's handbook, and now we have to make the creatures that are normally as a blank sheet in the new monster manual into more interesting versions with the given creature species we have for the player's handbook. So we're gonna put their unique traits, and I'm going to assign traits that you can give to any creature, CR0 included, traits that you should probably give to a CR3 or higher, and then finally traits you should probably give to a CR5 humanoid or higher. And for our sake, we're going to replace the word level with CR in our case. So first off, Aasimars. Aasimars have a resistance to necrotic and radiant damage. They have dark vision, and they also delay cantrip. These are totally fine things to give to any Aasimar. There are not that many spells that necrotic and radiant would be that big of an issue, and I think your players could find other damage types to work around it. Healing Hands will provide bonus healing on a... Ooh, I forgot to get magic action, a full out action. But it is more sustained that the creature would not have beforehand, so that's why I put it a little bit higher in the CR3 category. And then finally, Celestial Revelation, which is the big one, which is the bonus action, giving them more damage, and then either a fly speed, even more AoE damage, or a frighten, depending on which one you choose. Dragonborn has dark vision, the resistant to one of the elemental types, and then their breath weapon, which actually scales the damage, but it is still an action all the same, but it also gives some creatures a range that they wouldn't normally have, or AoE which they normally have, so that's why I put it a little bit higher. And then finally, the flight, which could be very annoying to deal with at lower levels, so that's why it's put in the highest category. As for Dwarf, unfortunately, I don't think any of these features gets that high and is a problem with that high. They do have a superior dark vision and resistance to poison and advantage on poison. I think those are totally fine to keep. Their toughness will make them more bulkier. I think after the early stages, you don't really want to mess with hit points a little bit too much. I think it's fine-tuned, but afterwards, really fine. And then stone cutting could be used instead as an ambush tactic for the dwarves, where you could, as a DM, place them by stone, and they could have the tremor sense, and they could use it to have not an ambush round, have advantage on their initiative with an ambush. But I don't think that's strong enough to put it higher. I think that's perfectly fine as a CR3 monster. Elves, so they have dark vision. They also have their custom lineage which you have to choose from. Their sleep immunity is fine. Their short hours, long rest is fine. And then they have, depending on which drow they are, they have a known cantrip and one other bonus effect. The high elf can change that cantrip. The drow has superior dark vision, and the wood elf has superior movement. I think these are all fine. It's a little bit much, but it's not going to significantly change combat as you replace a warrior as an elf warrior. And then there are higher level spells they get. They should just get them at the same as the level. So level at CR3 they'll get the Fairy Fire, they'll get Magic, they'll get the Long Stride, or at CR5 they'll get the Darkness, they'll get the Misty Step, they'll get the Pass Without Trace. And then also at CR3, I think giving them the advantage against Charm Save should start there. And the proficiency, just a little extra bonus. The gnome is small size, so that's gonna have to take into account. That's a guarantee. It has some benefits and disadvantages. It has dark vision, and then it has its lineage, which doesn't do much. They have small casting with mind illusion or speak with animals, or they can make prestidigitation and make it out of toys. Unfortunately, I don't think the gnome has great abilities, but the gnomish cunning I think is a little bit too strong for an early monster to have. Advantage on all wisdom, charisma, all intelligence, wisdom, and saving throws. Like, I think it's too strong. I think it has to be safe for CR5. You could try it CR4, but I think your players will get a little bit annoyed. Then we have the Goliath. So I think alpha build's good thing to start off. It gives them advantage against strengthening chips. It gives them advantage against. It gives them advantage on grappling checks. And increase their character capacity. That's more roleplay. And then you have the Ancestries, which will honestly do a good amount of damage. So that's why I put it up at third. It could even go to the CR5 slot, but I feel like the larger form is more of a tougher boss monster, so that's why I kept it there at the CR5 mark. But they have a bunch of advantages such as Misty Step, Teleportation, more fire damage, or cold and slow, proning, a reaction that can reduce damage, which is the original one that they only got back in 2014, and then a reaction thunder damage attack. So there's a lot of some pretty damage increasing abilities they have here, so that's why I put it at third at CR3. And then large form is a bonus action to become large and have advantage on strength checks, and your speed increases. I just feel like this fits better. That entity is automatically given at 5th level, I want to say, for the Goliath. That's why I put it at 5th level for the CR. Halfling. So halflings are also always small, and you can take the hide action behind any extra creature, and then you can also pass through any extra space that is a size larger than you. So they make very good hit and run people. And then they have the halfling bravery, which gives an advantage on Tritons. I would think, again, after CR3 is fine for that. And then lucky, which is really strong, which is why I put it at CR5. It's just a big middle finger to your players. Oh. Now into the human. They have skillful, which gives them proficiency in any skill of their choice. Great. And then they also have versatile for their origin feats. I think at level 1 you can get the roleplay feats like crafter and skilled. Those are completely fine. Maybe even some of the mixed ones like musician or magic initiative, but you gotta be careful to try and keep it out of combat stuff. And then as you get to CR3, then you can start introducing the combat heavy versatility options, such as healer, alert, lucky, savage attacker, tavern brawler, tough. And then finally, resourceful, which is what they get heroic inspiration once a day. It's a free reroll for them. So just like the lucky feat earlier, keeping it there. Orcs. So unfortunately, orcs don't actually get a lot, and what they do get is kind of powerful. So they do get superior dark vision at 120 feet, and then they have relentless endurance, which I think it's maybe a little bit too strong because it means that lower level players just have to put in another attack to kill the orc. So you might want to put that at CR3 or leave it around, but I just don't think orcs have enough flavor if it's just the superior dark vision, because other species have that and way more. So it might be fine to keep that. Just, orcs are tough to deal with. And then the internal latch, which I do think you should get at level 3, but I think you should remove the temporary hit points out of it, because I think it's just too much, too aggressive, that they're going to run down the back line at CR3. So that's why I saved the extra temporary hit points for afterwards. So they have the ability to rush them down, but they don't have any tankiness, while this one does provide them with bit of tankiness, so it's a lot harder to shake them off. And the Tiefling. They have Dark Vision. They have they have Thaumaturgy. And then they have a Legacy option, just like the Elves. So they gain a Resistance type, which is totally fine. And then they gain 1 cantrip. Poison Spray, Chill Touch, Firebolt. And then as they level up, they'll get more spells. The CR3, it'll be Ray of Sickness, False Life, and Rebuke. And then it'll be Hold Person, Raven Feeble, and Darkness. So, pretty much in practice, if we're going to work on the Warrior line, for example, which is one that goes to CR10. So there's the Warrior Infantry, which is a CR8. There's the Warrior Veteran, which is a CR3, and there's the Warrior Commander, which is a CR10. So if you had a Goliath Warrior Infantry, they would have Powerful Build. Then, when they turn to a Veteran, they would have access to Giant's Ancestry. Then, when they become Commander, they'd also have access to the larger form. Same thing with Elves, but replacing it with their benefits. Here. And then Humans with their benefits. So, short video, but I just wanted to give out this idea of really adding flavor to these monsters. The original D&D 2014 version did this. They're supposed to be blank sheets. So this is my answer to solving those blank holes in the spells list. Have a good one, everybody.